to your place. Like, I had a really great moment before I got on this tour where I just was in a meditation, and I was like, wow, just don't sweat the small stuff. And it was a great release. But then my guitar didn't show up. And it's a guitar that I've had forever, and I really, truly love, and it sounds good now, and I played and I got it with my first record deal. So it has all this, I have all this attachment to it, and I thought that FedEx had lost it. And I think the universe puts you in those positions to be like, all right, are you going to flip out now because you were saying all this bullshit earlier in meditation? And then how are you really going to react to that? So I think that's one of the things that trying to put yourself in a better space mentally, I think is and also seeing a lot of my peers go down, to suicide and drugs and all that stuff that are in the music business, and also looking at some of the founding fathers that I love and what they had to go through and not make it, is kind of a thing like, do you want to be in that category?
Well, it's one of those things, too, that I guess it applies to that saying that the universe only throws at you what it thinks you can handle.
Yeah. I think the universe will throw things that you can handle and also things you can't handle. And it's amazing is when you start learning more things and how to deal with them and evolving, they'll throw you more stuff.
Yeah.
And then test you. How would you react? I mean, that's like, how do you react when how do you react? Okay, you can write a song. How do you react when you could compromise your brand, but you're going to make more money. You could compromise your authenticity, but you could make more money. Or you could compromise your own personal morals for passion or the flesh or whatever it is. Alcohol, drugs, all these other things that come around.
So how much do you, as an adult now, and someone who's had a very, long career in music, how much do you identify with that kid that you were growing up in Memphis and D.C.?
I don't identify with that, except I identify the times. I think that you're always that same person, so you don't see yourself growing up.
Yeah.
You still feel like a kid. You still feel the things that happen in your life, but you also realize at the time that those things happen for a reason, the bad things, and then you try to recognize the good things.
Yeah.
But I don't, that's just what we're born into certain things, and we're meant to, learn from them and somewhat be driven by them, but that fuel cannot be used to forever. So you have to learn, find a new fuel source to elevate you.
Yeah, agreed. Well,
so it's like you get to that point where you have to. Luckily, music has brought me in different social and circles and different areas of the world, and also meeting different people. And I've always been lucky where I kind of wanted to seek out what was different.
Yeah.
from what I was born to, because we're born to this flesh, and how do we not stay in that?
Well, to your point, my final question is, you've had a life creating and performing music and traveling the world and meeting all those people from all walks of life. What does that taught you about what it means to be a human being?
Well, it over the years, I kind of realized that you're not going to have certain authentic relationships, and that authentic relationship has to come from, and it sounds cheesy, has to come from within.
Yeah.
And there's not, I mean, it's kind of easy to stay in a bubble where people are like, oh, social media, oh, you suck. It's neither one of them. It's just like, you wrote some music, you touch people, that's great. That's not who you are.
Yeah.
And those things are actually challenging, because then what is, the entertainment business is seductive. Money is seductive. Fame, all those kind of things, they can seduce you. So it even small levels of it. So it's like, how do you see that the possible darkness in some of the things that you've achieved?
Yeah.
And identify them, and you're going to have to live in that. But that's the difference of the outside Clarence Greenwood going into a restaurant, and Clarence Greenwood I'm at now. Before, it was like, no, there's no public restrooms. And then you go back to the same place, they're bringing you free drinks, 10, 15 years later. So, I mean, the girl that you wanted to date,
yeah,
that now is in love with you, but she wouldn't give you a date way back. So, I mean, that's real shit, and there's nothing wrong with it, but that's completely real. Like, never anybody called, stopped me on the street and tried to seduce me and call me sexy before any of this shit happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some attention, but it wasn't like, I mean, so that shit is not necessarily real. They identify with some shit you've done.
Yeah.
Some music you've done. So you have like a kind of interesting perspective on what human nature is.
Yeah. And
sometimes that door isn't always the prettiest room to walk into.
Well, and that goes back to what you were saying before, that appearance versus reality,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can walk into a situation where you just are not, there's a level of just authenticity that and actual, as an artist, that you kind of are driven by actually a level of autonomy, and also a level of being still and alone and spending a lot of time in solitude, to actually being the subject of a discussion which really doesn't benefit anyone. It's just, it's like, okay, people trying to get the answers to questions you don't even know yourself.
Yeah. Well, and it comes back to the idea that, like, at the end of the day, you're a human being like everyone else.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we all have flaws. We have, it kind of, you get, oh, well, so-and-so's an asshole because they did something. They didn't sign my autograph or whatever. And it's just like, you know, a lot of times people want a picture more than they want to say hello to you.
Yeah.
It's really crazy watching people with their phones. It's like, wow.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that because, you know, I as a music journalist, someone asked me the other day, they're like, you know, why don't you ever ask for autographs or stuff? I said, no, because I want a genuine interaction. Because the second you ask for something, you can see that look in an artist's face where it just shifts.
Yeah, because it changes. It's like, you know, there's all this time, you know, if you're going to have 3-minute interaction and then, you know, 2 of those minutes are taking a picture and retaking a picture, and it's just social. It's like social digital currency that people are getting, and it's not. It's really like a drug addict that buys drugs and then turns around. It's like they don't even look back. They got what they want now.
And that's what I like about being in my position, because I can actually have a genuine conversation with the person, you know?
Yeah. I think, and that's really dope. Like, I'll walk down the street, and a lot of times people are like, "Coke, what's up?" And just keep it moving.
Yep.
I love what you do. I saw you, da-da-da. And it's not like, "Hey, can I have a picture?"
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. And it's like that, so they can post it on some social media that nobody cares about anyway.
Yeah.